Alright, what's good, everybody? Tea Leaves coming at you with another vid. It's been a while. I've been busy the past few weeks, but we're back again. I'll talk about, among other things, passing of Diego Maradona, some international smatterings, and just a few clubs across Europe outside of England who I think have been performing above their weight so far this season. So let's get started. So, firstly, my condolences to the family and friends of Diego Armando Maradona, who many will consider one of, not the greatest of all time. I definitely have him up there. He really changed the game for not only on the field, changed the game for Argentina, he changed the game for Naples. He brought Argentina a World Cup trophy in 1986, got them to the final in 1990, won two Serie A titles with Napoli, and really brought respect to the region of southern Italy, normally frowned down upon by the clubs in the north, but Napoli really put that to bed while Diego Maradona was at the club. And his shooting, the goals he scored and created, of course, his passing. For me, the most underrated aspect of his game. I think he's a better passer of the ball than most midfielders who are mainly paid to pass the ball amongst other things, but passing is, primarily what, at least like attacking midfielders. You think of attacking midfielders passing, but Diego Maradona, wherever he was, he had the whole complete package up top and, in and around that area. Probably one of, not the greatest number 10 to ever play the game. And you'll dearly be missed. Of course, he led a very complicated life, a very wild, distinct personality, had a lot of, had a very unique character. A character is very loved, but of course, a character that was very maligned. He had lots of issues with drugs and alcohol that might have taken a few years off of his life, but at least in the long run. But honestly, it's a very sad story. But at least we can look back and see his footage, and those who were able to see him in person can say, I saw our greatest player to ever play the game, or one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Either or, it's I just gotta appreciate these people while they're alive, because you never know what will happen. I mean, we're in this crazy year of 2020 where we've lost Kobe in basketball world. Some baseball fans will, well, mostly Mets fans, mourning the loss of Tom Seaver. Of course, in the football world, mourning the loss of Maradona. And I know for a lot of basketball fans, I know my good Celtic fan friends, of course, mourning the loss of Tommy Heinsohn, legendary figure in Boston. And 2020 has taken so much. We just gotta appreciate, everybody who's out there. Appreciate it. Not tear each other down with a lot of these nonsense comparisons. I've been guilty of it myself. I'm not gonna try and act like I haven't done it before, but I think sometimes we just gotta appreciate what some of these great players have brought to the games that they've played in, and just appreciate it while they're alive before it's too late. So that being said, my my condolences to the family, friends, Argentina, Naples, football fans in general. We're all mourning today, and we'll probably mourn for a little bit longer. That being said, let's get into some international smatterings. So, firstly, I just want to have a uh, quick love thread for Mr. Goran Pandev. He's going to his first international tournament with North Macedonia, or Macedonia. Please correct me if I am wrong how to identify that country's name if you are from that country, because I do not want to be wrong about that, and I'd like to get it right, because I'd like to be respectful of the country. But I also, of course, Goran Pandev, absolute legend, part of the Mourinho Inter-Treble of 2010, which a lot of people don't know. Of course, he was part of the Napoli team that was in the Champions League, got knocked out by Chelsea in 2012. and he's been at Genoa pretty much single-handedly keeping them up the past few seasons. They're not a particularly good team, but now we're at a stage. Of course, he forgot he owns his own. He owns his own team called Academia Pandev, and they play in the country's top tier back in North Macedonia. And of course, he scored the winning goal against Georgia to get his team into the Euro 2020 tournament. Now in 2021 because of the virus, but yeah, what a legend. Guy's still going. He's not done yet. So of course, massive props to him. What a player. Of course, we also saw during the international break, we saw England get humiliated by Belgium. Gareth Southgate is don't have a good read on him. Not a big fan of him from what I've seen recently, but of course you can't ignore what he did in 2018, getting to a semifinal, even if he had an easy ride to get there. And they still technically lost 3 games in the tournament as a whole, but England has so much talent. This could be a new golden generation for them. I don't think he's the guy to take them to their potential, which their potential, if they get it right with a different manager, I do think they could, in theory, win a World Cup. But then again, we said this about the Knots golden generation with Rooney, Cole, Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, Lampard, Rio Ferdinand, Sol Campbell, Gary Neville, um, players of that caliber, and they couldn't win a tournament, let alone even get to a final of a tournament with the caliber of players they had then. And I don't know if that's going to change. I think it could if they reach their potential. They get a coach that can get the best out of them. Southgate plays a bit too passive and defensive for my liking. I'd like to see England play with a manager who's really about a fast counterattack, really attack-minded manager. They have such great attacking talent that I think they didn't. What I think is honestly has the potential to eclipse what they had in the Knots. You have Sancho, Sterling, Kane, Rashford. You got the likes of Grealish. You could play Mount in an advanced role. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's a wealth of talent, and this is they could do something, but it just I don't think Gareth Southgate's the guy. But we'll see at the end of the day. Still not sold. And of course, Spain beat Germany 6-0. Boy, oh boy, Yogi Love, done, done. He's done. He is done. I've seen a lot of stuff about people saying that Bayern coach Hansi Flick was the guy really responsible for the 2014 World Cup as a result of this, and I'm tempted to believe those people. Now, of course, it's not to say that Yogi Love did nothing, but he didn't exactly have a spectacular club managing career. Last I checked, he was at Stuttgart. He was at Stuttgart, didn't really do anything special there, to my knowledge. Of course, I'm just checking this right now. He was at Stuttgart at one point, and he won a German Cup. That's about it. He won a league title with Tiro Innsbruck in Austria. So club-wise, not really a spectacular player, or sorry, not a spectacular manager, not player. Club-wise, nothing spectacular. And of course, let's remember that Stuttgart actually did win a title. Stuttgart won a title 2006-07 season, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not like they were terrible. They were a good team that couldn't quite find their match. And of course, this was also a period in time that he was managing, actually, where in Germany there were some moments where Bayern really wasn't the only team who was able to win the Bundesliga. I think the year before that, or sometime in there, Borussia Dortmund won a couple Bundesliga titles in a row. They had a Champions League in there as well. And Kaiserslautern won a Bundesliga in the 90s. So, it's not like Yogi Love was managing in a period where it wasn't possible to win the Bundesliga like it is nowadays if you're not managing a team named Bayern Munich. But again, he's done. That aside about his club management career, but we'll get past that now. Germany should not be playing defensively ever, even if it's against a team like Spain who will keep the ball and just pass and do what they do. Difference is with Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique is a coach that will get the team to use that possession, and he will get them to use it and move it quickly, move it in attacking areas, off the ball movement, quick interchanges, fast attacking. It's basically tiki taka with fewer passes and on steroids is the way I like to think of Luis Enrique and his style. And Yogi Love just run out of ideas for Germany. I think him getting rid of the likes of Muller and Boateng and Hummels, I don't think that was a good idea. Muller, I think, he showed that Germany does need to operate with a 10 or a Raumdeuter. I still don't know what the hell that is. I don't think anyone does. Thomas Muller just does what he wants and he scores goals. I mean, he's in the best form of his life. He needs to be back at the German national team. I think you could say the same about Boateng. He's a little bit shaky, but I think he's an upgrade over some of the options they have in defense right now. And of course, Ferran Torres with the hat trick. Now, I was doubting this kid's ability, but I think it's clear to see now that he is a world-class player, or he has the potential to be. I guess it'd be too soon to say he's a world-class player, but he is on the cusp. And Pep Guardiola needs to get the best out of him alongside Sterling, and then whoever they get up top in the end. If it's still Jesus or Aguero at some point when he comes back from injury. Ferran Torres, special player, good signing by Man City, and he looks great right now for Spain towards Germany. Yogi Love get his butt out of there, and that's all I got to say about that. Now, also a quick congratulations to Scotland before I move on for making their first international tournament in a while. It'd be nice to see Andy Robertson, Kieran Tierney, among others, in this tournament. It'll be nice to have a fresh set of faces. Don't expect Scotland to do much, even though they've also, of course, got McIniesta, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. England versus Scotland, though. That'll be tasty. All right. So club sides who I've been fascinated by recently. So I've been fascinated by Cadiz. Cadiz, really, in Spain, they've been punching above their weight. I would have said Real Sociedad. Of course, they're punching above their weight with David Silva playing fantastically. Oyarzabal going to be snapped up by someone sooner rather than later. He's a hell of a player. He's just one of their own, so to speak. Real Sociedad with that great academy. But that aside, I want to take a look at Cadiz. This is a team that got promoted from second tier. I saw a lot of people on the internet saying they're going to go right back down to Segunda División, or whatever it's called nowadays, considering they have all the various sponsors and changed the names or whatever. Second division in Spain. Cadiz, I looked at their transfers, and I was thinking, there's no one that really stands out. They did get Negredo, of course, but he's not really lighting it up so far. What I see from Cadiz is a team that, regardless of the players they bring in, they have a clear identity. They seem very defensive to me, but like Getafe, they can counter, and they are able to score most of the time when they're able to. Now, of course, they've lost their last 2 games, but it is worth noting, outside of conceding 4 to Atleti, they've conceded 7 in their other 9 games, which is a very good defensive record, especially for a team that just got promoted from the second tier. They're currently in 5th in La Liga, but of course they have played one more game than a lot of teams. I expect that to go down, but even then, what an achievement for them. They look great so far this season, and at least compared to what people expected. And I gotta say, they're staying up. And I said it beforehand, they're staying up. This is a team that is going to stay up because they have a clear identity regardless of the players they bring in. And that is what you need. That is what Bordalas did for Getafe. That is what we're seeing at Granada. That is what we're seeing at Cadiz. That's what these teams in Spain do. The best teams with smaller budgets in Spain have a clear identity that they stick with, and that is how they are able to outperform what they have on paper. So again, credit to Cadiz. Credit to them. Round of applause. Just got to give that to them right away. Of course, I'm going to shift the Germany, I'm going to take a look at Union Berlin. Now, of course, I could have looked at Stuttgart. They have a player, Sasa Kalajdzic. I was named, I probably butchered, who's got 6 goal contributions in 8 games in the Bundesliga so far for Stuttgart, and they're in eighth right now, which is impressive. Union Berlin is another one of those teams, another team kind of like Cadiz. I think they're a bit more attacking. They're not quite as defensively rigid, though they are, I would say, against teams like Bayern Munich. You know, but they're a team that is able to attack, and they're able to attack with some regularity in the Bundesliga. Their defense really good. They've got Max Kruse, Joe Paulo. They've got likes of those guys. They've got Loris Karius riding the bench, of course, now with Andreas Luther taking over the goalkeeper position and easily looking better than Loris Karius. That's crazy, but hey, Loris Karius can enjoy the ride this season. His buns will be nice and toasty at the end of this one. And you know, again, a team that performs better than the sum of their parts. They've scored some great set piece goals this season, from corners, from free kicks. I found that very impressive about them from the highlights I've been able to see. They're really able to put together attacks. They're really it looks like they just have it set up. They have planned how they're going to counter or what moves they need to get in position to score a goal. It's not like they aren't bereft of ideas, but it's that they are very deliberate in how they counterattack, and it's beautiful to watch. And then, last but not least, I wanted to touch on Sassuolo in Italy. They're the new Atalanta for me this season. They are free-flowing attacking side, conceding plenty at the back, but my goodness, they are looking brilliant. I've watched them play. Some of the goals they score, there's just so much movement off the ball. There's so much pressure that they put on opponents. The way they play, it's really fun to watch. They are the new Atalanta. They really are. And of course, you've got De Zerbi doing bits for them. You got Domenico Berardi, Raspadori, Boga. Who else do they got? I'm thinking like Berardi, Boga, Raspadori. Juricic has looked decent too, and Locatelli making a name for himself outside of AC Milan. I mean, this is a team that really, again, I mean, just like the other two teams, perform better than the sum of their parts. But my goodness, they are fun to watch, and I will enjoy watching them this season. I hope they're able to mount a serious title challenge. They have not gotten relegated from the Serie A since they were promoted in, I think, 2012. Correct me if I am wrong there, but they are a team. They've been very up and down throughout the league. There have been some seasons where they've come dangerously close to relegation. There's others where they pushed for a European spot. One season, a few seasons ago, where they were actually in the Europa League, if I'm not mistaken. Now they're in a position where they could pull a Leicester, or they could pull an Atalanta more specifically, but doing it in better style, because the Atalanta of this season look pedestrian compared to what we saw last season. Ilicic hasn't been the same, even though he did score against Liverpool the other night in the Champions League, but not looking the same. But yeah, Sassuolo is like an Atalanta 2.0 this season, and credit where credit's due. Love to see them push Milan for the title. I mean, Milan in first place. It's been a while since we said that. It'd be their first league title since 2011 if they were to pull that off, of course, as well. Juve looking sluggish at the gates, but of course, it's a long Serie A season. Juve could nip the title at any point in time, and I could have egg on my face. That's the end of this video. Of course, if you want to see more videos, more content, like and subscribe, share with your friends, and happy Thanksgiving, of course. Enjoy your holiday seasons, and I'll see you soon. Peace.